Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairymuppet. Welcome back to some Factorio Space Age. We have two tutorials left to go. Try saying that really fast. And as you could probably tell from where I am, we are going to be talking about fusion power. No, wait, what am I talking about? We're talking about quality. I'm reading the list, and fusion power is the second last one, but I changed the order. Talking about quality, okay? This is the quality tutorial. So, yeah, if you want to make high quality versions of stuff, we got legendary mech armor over here. We got legendary batteries. We got legendary robots. We've got legendary... Actually, I'm not sure if we have legendary thingamybobs, but we do have legendary prod modules here and there. I'm sure there's some of them lying around. These are all the legendary things we have. I got a whole bunch of quality modules, legendaries. I think the prod modules and the speed modules have all been sent off to the main base. Yeah, almost certainly. We're requesting a ton of them. So, let's talk about quality. Let's talk about quality really simply. So, let's... Now, I've actually got all these with prod modules in them, and I've got nothing in my inventory, which is not good, so... Yeah. So, there's a new module type, which you can make. It's a quality module. And I have about 700 legendary quality 3s in my inventory. So, we'll just ignore that. Why am I requesting 200,000? I should be requesting 200. That 200,000 is just ridiculous. Anyway, so quality modules basically increase the quality chance of a specific building. So, for example, we are making whatever the hell this is, rocket turrets. And we put 4 legendary quality modules in here. Each one increases the quality by 6.2%. That gives a total chance of 24.8% of quality increasing. Now, this is a normal recipe, which means there's a 24.8% chance of it producing an uncommon. Well, it's of producing a higher level of quality. Now, the actual chart is on the Factorio wiki, but if I remember correctly, it's a 24.8% chance of the rarity increasing, and then it kind of breaks down where it's actually about 22 point something percent chance of it becoming uncommon, and then about 2.2% chance of it becoming rare, and 0.2% chance of it becoming epic, and 0.02% chance of it becoming legendary. So it is not multiplicative. For example, if you've got a 50% chance, it's not then a 25% chance for it becoming rare. That 24.8% chance covers every increase in quality, and so there's a 75.2% chance of it just producing a normal one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the chance of it jumping 2 levels is basically the normal quality chance divided by 10. So 24.8% chance of normal, and then rare is like a tenth of that, but it's kind of like mixed in, so all of the quality chances fit inside 24.8% chance, but it's basically divided by 10. It's very confusing to do in my head, but the point is, yeah, it's very hard to jump multiple levels. Like if you're building a normal thing to get a rare or to get an epic or something like that, it's very difficult. So there's a few different ways you can sort of do it, and I'll be telling you what way I do it, but it kind of depends on what strategy you want to use as to how you do it. So what I'll actually do is I'm going to run off to one of my mining bases down here. Because I got a very special sort of mining base over here, and it's currently stalled, which is probably not good. But anyway, I put a bunch of quality modules on the big miners, so they have a bunches of chances of creating high quality. And then Anything that's normal quality, I just recycle straight away. Anything that's better than normal, I put onto the trains, and I have a separate carriage for uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. And if the uncommon backs up, then I send the rest of it over here to basically be recycled. And if it's still uncommon, then I send it back around again. If it's rare or better, then I send it around here. Now this system is broken basically because I threaded in this other series of ore from up here, and yeah, I don't actually know how to design this base properly. I'm very bad at it. But if you go to one of the other ones, well, this one is dead because the mines are dead. But if you go to one of these other ones, you can see it's working properly. So we're backed up on uncommon, we're backed up on rare. So these uncommon and rares go around here, and they basically then just try and get upskilled. So basically, the way this works is 25% of the time it'll return the base item, and there's also a quality version in there. So sometimes, I think 25% of the chance of that 25% of the chance, then it'll upscale it. So you throw away a lot of ore, but you do get some quality upskilled. So yes, this is devastating to the amount of ore that you're mining. Having said that, if you do the smart thing and make all this on Volcanus, then you got unlimited stuff. But then again, on Volcanus, you don't have ore, you just have plate. And you can kind of, if you recycle the plate, I guess you get the ore, something like that. Anyway, that is how I get higher levels. We're going to ignore this base because it's broken, but yeah, the idea is pretty sound. And so I got these trains coming in with all of the various qualities of the copper and iron and coal. And then the way I've chosen to do this is whenever I create something, I use prod modules, legendary prod modules, as it happens. And I basically only produce more of that if I need to. So if I've got less than 1,000 rare quality iron plate, then I produce more. If I've got more, then I don't. And I do that for the epic and legendary qualities. And I use prod modules because it is very hard to get the ore, and especially very hard to get like legendary ore and stuff like that. And then whatever I'm building, I kind of just keep building at all different levels using massive amounts of prod modules. And let's say I'm going to get try and get legendary quality modules. So I got a legendary quality module builder here for quality 3s, and it's not working because it's out of red legendaries. But up here, I also got some buildings making epic ones with quality modules on them. So as you can see, this is the only place I really use quality modules in this base. So I keep building it up, building it up, building up using prod modules to get insane bonuses until I get to the final level. And then at the final level, I'm building the epic ones, and I want them to be legendary. And if the epic ones come out, then what I do is I recycle them and get their components out. And then, because the recyclers have quality modules in them, you've got a good chance of getting, for example, a legendary red circuit or a legendary blue circuit, which you can then send off to this machine and use it to just straight build a legendary. And then you've got all these machines over here. The legendary one will obviously not have many components, but the uncommon and the rare ones will. And the thing is, the uncommon and the rare ones will basically just automatically get recycled to try and get rare or legendary parts. And we build up to the module 2s and then start throwing everything away at that level. Yeah, I could put quality modules on these guys, but the thing is, quality modules slow them down immensely. So if I put quality modules on these guys, I would have to build like 10 each of these instead of just 2, or maybe 20 each of some of them or something like that. So I just put speed modules. This is probably the only bit that's kind of a little bit iffy, but at this point I'm okay with it. And on this particular build, it's not throwing away the epic level 3s because we've got enough of the quality module level 3s. And here it is trying to throw these away. But these are not... Here's the thing. We're not actually... What are we doing here? This one requires level 2... it's trying to build level 2 quality modules, but it's run out of red circuits. Yeah, this base, it has a lot of troubles getting red circuits up. So yeah, some of this is probably not just working, but anyway, most of it is. And you can kind of see, so basically you're trying to get everything to legendary. So as soon as you get a rare level 2, a rare quality module 2, you kind of just throw it away straight away. So you build it and then you recycle it straight away using the quality modules. And these are actually quite fast, I guess. But that's kind of the way that I do it. And the reason I do it this way is because I want massive amounts of things. Now, if you just wanted like one item, like if you're building asteroid collectors and you want very few items, you would put quality modules in every single level of these buildings. And you wouldn't get many, but you would get higher quality overall. However, I want massive amounts of legendary prod modules and legendary speed modules. So that's why I have prod modules everywhere and speed modules boosting them up. And then only when I get to the end and I've produced things that I don't want, will I actually throw them into the recycler and say, okay, I don't need you anymore. Which is pretty much it. I should have some recyclers somewhere, which are destroying... Yeah, I do. I have the same thing over here. So, yeah. That's kind of it. I mean, it's very, very hard to get legendary ore. I tried to do that, but the thing is you end up destroying a bunch of ore. Maybe if you're on Volcanus, you could kind of do it, but you would need a lot of buildings making iron plate and then recycling like 99% of it to end up with all legendary plate. So it would be a very slow process. You need a massive power grid to keep it going, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is kind of the best way to do it. Having said that, anything with speed modules, if you multiplied that building by 10 and put quality modules on it instead, it would probably be more efficient, but I just been a bit lazy with that sort of stuff. And I mean, if we have a look, how many, well, I'm running out of legendary project modules on this one, but on this base, there are 1,500 in the system and 2,000 legendary speed module 3s. So clearly, I've got enough of them. So, that's kind of the basics of how I do quality modules and the basics of how you could do quality modules. So the basic rule is, if you want a lot of a specific item, put prod modules in all of the buildings, and then once you get to the end and you haven't produced the quality you want, then you recycle it with quality modules there. And then you kind of end up with this high-end build where it's kind of continuously building this crap, but then recycling it to try and get components to build the epic version, and then the epic version is used to actually build it with quality modules to try and spawn a rare one. Because this is the thing, this is building epic quality module 3s, so it's got a 31% chance of producing a legendary, which is pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, but I think something is actually broken in this space. I'm not sure what, but yeah, if we have a look, so quality module 2s are running out of epic blues. Blues are running out of epic purples. Epic purples are running out of that. This one's running out of that. So, yeah. Now, normally, it would still be running because it'd be recycling a whole bunch of this, but it's not because we're full on this one. But, having said that, these ones are slow. The problem is this base. This base is really killing me with the quality. It should be doing a lot more quality. You know what? This is supposed to be a tutorial video, but I'm actually going to go over there. I'm going to fix this base. It's a loop. It's some sort of weird loop. I'm not exactly sure how to fix it. It's because I'm looping in these other bits. And everything just gets stalled. The problem is the rare ones get stalled. Yeah, these ones get stalled as rares. So if I take out a few belts, and then I put them back, does that work? It kind of fixes the system. Here's the thing. Alright, you going in there. So we're prioritizing this one. So this legendary, this is all legendary. Maybe the legendaries, maybe I got too many legendaries. That sounds a bit weird, but okay. Well, let's input priority that, and let's send that one over there. Actually, you know what? Is this going to be all? This is going to be all. I think I'm just backed up on legendaries. I really do think that is the problem. Well, that's a good problem to have. I mean, that is a really good problem to have. Okay. Okay. I don't know if that's actually going to free up this area up here. I doubt it. This area is fine. This area is running beautifully. Yeah. But so this must have been running for a long time because, yeah, there's so much legendary ore there. And we just want to keep this bit flowing. So these guys are backed up, so they should be going over here and recycling instead. So if it's greater than rare, we try and shove it in into this belt. But if there's too much of it, then it ends up going back there. Okay. Here's what we do. Output priority. So if it's epic, so quality greater than or equal to epic, goes like that. So these are all going to be rare, and then we have an output priority of left, and then we join there, and then we send this one. So any of the rare ones, and if the system is stalled, then we send the rares over to this side. Okay. Input priority left. Input priority left. We got to make sure this loop keeps spinning, because otherwise we are in serious problems. I think one of the problems is we're just trying to shove too much onto this belt. This belt is just too backed up, and yeah, but it's starting to loosen up a bit now. We got a bit of rare excess on here, and their areas of course slow because we're trying to overload this belt is the problem. So it ends up backing up this one. Yeah, okay, so this belt is definitely a problem. Having said that, we could do a lot more on this one. Well, that's not good. What happened there? Stupid underground doing weird stuff. Okay. That's a bit better. Okay, we're going to end up with more coming out here, but we're going to end up with less overall on the loop. And hopefully that's... I shouldn't have been so lazy. I should have just created another station over here for this one. But I thought I could merge them in. Anyway, that's pretty much it. You are just squeezing into one of them, but it has a splitter after it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's a little bit... It's loosened up quite a bit. It's loosened up quite a bit. I like that. Okay, well that'll help quite a bit. Okay, now that we did a bit of emergency fixing on our quality base, let's talk about some important quality things. Important things to make. First of all, before somebody starts yelling in the comments, low density structures. You put in plastic and normal molten iron and copper. You get, you put in epic plastic, you get epic low density structure, and then you recycle it to get a ton of epic goods. So, if my... Oh, I see. If I've got epic copper plate is less than 500, then I recycle the epics. And I do the same for legendary copper plate. So this is how you get easy copper plate. You can do the same thing with steel, but epic and legendary copper plate, this is how you do it. I don't believe there is a similar recipe to get iron. If there was, I would definitely use it, but I don't think there is. Technically you could do this, but you need legendary stone brick to do it. And legendary stone brick is... It's not too bad. It is... It's a little bit annoying, I think. Ooh, excuse me. I don't think there's anything else here that you can really do that with. But yeah. Having said that, concrete is made with iron sticks. No, it's actually made with iron ore. Alright, forget that for a joke. It's the refined concrete which is made with iron stick. And there's no refined concrete in here. So yeah, you're screwed. You can't get iron. So iron is definitely going to be the pain point. Copper and steel you can get easily enough, but iron, 100% the pain point. So let's talk about some very important things that you'll want to make. Number one, the asteroid collectors. These things are so overpowered it's not even funny. Low density structures, we just talked about that. We just already talked about the blue circuits as well. We already saw the blue circuit build. And engines are pretty much just a case of pipe in normal lubricant and then green circuits and engine units. Now, all of these are just doing legendary, which is kind of okay if you've got legendary ore, but I used to do that. I just used to rely on legendary ore coming in because I had a ton of it. And then as soon as I switched over to a build where everything was just legendary inputs, I ran out of legendary ore very, very quickly. So what I'd recommend is do is just 4 buildings, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and then you recycle at the end if you've got stuff that you don't. Sort of, it depends. I mean, or you could just put quality modules in everything and get it up. But this one is not too hard to make. But yeah, if you want a few of them, I would just recommend putting quality modules in everything except for the legendary buildings. The legendary buildings, obviously, you just put speed modules in them. But let's talk about some other ones. Quality module 3s. Those are a big one. So they use everything on Navis except for the superconductors. So let's have a look at the superconductors, because they are a bit of a pain in the ass. So this is my legendary superconductor base. And basically we just put a bunch of quality modules on drills, send them all through. Anything that's normal basically gets destroyed. Anything that's uncommon starts getting sent over here. And basically you just want stone and holmium ore, because you use stone and holmium ore to make holmium solution, which I just use prod modules on everything because it's making fluid. And then I have my holmium plate, which I use 4 legendary quality modules on. Well worth getting the legendary quality modules on here. And then I got a little setup that just recycles the plate forever and ever and ever until it gets legendary or epic plate. And then I send it back over. Now, it's actually stuck at the moment due to lack of stone, which is interesting. I have seen this stalled. You do end up with a bit of problems with some of these areas stalling. Yeah. We kind of want to input priority this. And the problem is we're merging it like that, so we can't do a priority splitter on that bit. But yeah, this is not good. We definitely need to fix this. But anyway, that's the process for it. You basically just get the holmium plate. Now you can build the superconductor on Fulgora, obviously. The problem is that getting plastic bars, high quality plastic bars, and copper plate. Copper plate's okay. Plastic bars are a little bit tougher to get in high scales. We've got a few of them now, but I always found that even when I got like a bunch of legendary and epic holmium plate, I'd always be running out of plastic. So what I decided to do instead was take the holmium plate, send it back over to Navis in its own little ship. It used to be superconductors and now it's plates. And yeah. Then I just build it over here. I got to build for it somewhere. Because of course it's very easy to get copper and plastic on Navis in high qualities, because plastic just takes copper and it just takes coal, and coal is not that hard to get. Epic and legendary. Well, you don't need that much of it, so your coal quality base, which is right here, will do awesome things until it runs out of ore, which my one has. But yeah, it's not really giving me a hard time because I got so many stuff and I've already built the Megabase, so I really don't care. And yeah, we can get legendary copper from the LDS process that we talked about before. So yeah, so it's better to take the superconductors over here, and that is how you build legendary quality modules, which are very, very useful for, it's kind of one of the first things that you want to get, legendary quality modules, and then you can start building the speed and the productivity and whatever else you want to build. Now the next most important is probably going to be the productivity modules. These are absolutely incredible. Now they take the same old circuits we've already talked about and biter eggs. Now the thing with biter eggs is there's no way to produce anything other than a normal biter egg directly out of a captive biter spawner. It's just impossible. The only thing you can do, and I've tested it, I mean I haven't tested building a legendary captive biter spawner, but from what I saw in the research, it just does not work. I researched it a bit and it just increases the speed, the crafting speed and the health. It does not mean that it produces legendary biter eggs. If it did, that would be incredible, but it does not. So what you have to do is keep these guys just beefed up with Navis bioflux. I think I also tested putting high quality bioflux in, or I googled it. That doesn't work either. So you basically get some biter eggs and you just recycle the living hell out of them. So we're recycling them all here. All the normal ones get recycled here. All of the uncommon and rare ones get recycled here. If we have epic ones, then we have a crack and see if we can upskill them into legendaries by building a number 3. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, this building is slow as crap because normally this is 60 seconds and the speed is minus 25% because we're using quality 3s on it. But yeah, the prod bonus, the native prod bonus on this building. Oh, we got a couple of legendaries. So there we go. That is how you do it. And if you produce an epic, I've got another little thing here, and basically it says if we don't have enough legendary prod module 3s, then recycle the epic ones and try and get some components back. And usually this is how I get my legendary biter eggs or something like that. I never recycle epic biter eggs directly. I always send them straight off here to produce this sort of stuff. And that's how you get legendary prod modules. Speed modules are similar, but arguably easy. They take tungsten carbide, which I ship over from Volcanus. And in Volcanus, I didn't do anything fancy. I just mined a bunch of the tungsten with quality modules, put it into this crazy thing, which basically creates epic and legendary tungsten ore. Sent it all the way up here. And I basically just produced the legendary and the epic. Now the epic carbon I don't make on Volcanus because it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I actually make it on Navis because it turns out it's really easy to make because all it takes is coal and sulfuric acid, and I've got very high quality coal in large amounts on Navis because of the way I was doing the mining. And because we don't need that much coal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's speed, that's productivity, and that's quality. I don't know why you would ever want legendary efficiency module 3s unless as soon as you get fusion modules, efficiency modules become completely obsolete, except in spaceships. And let's face it, you can build a spaceship with fusion reactors as well. Like this spaceship has 2.4 gigawatts of power. So yeah, efficiency modules completely. And this spaceship, using legendary prod modules everywhere, using legendary speed modules everywhere, no efficiency modules in sight. Well, maybe, I think there's a couple over here, but that's about it. Everything else, speed, productivity, it's a beast of a ship, and it manages to power everything. So there we go. And that's pretty much it in terms of things you want to build. There's some other miscellaneous things which are really useful. Bulk inserters, legendary, very, very useful. I use them everywhere. Long-handed inserters, useful in specific sort of places. Legendary gun turrets are also awesome, but most of these use fairly basic components. You don't have to worry too much about getting anything crazy. Now, I have stalled these up because I did have everything just building legendary off legendary ore. I fixed it for the quality modules. I took it back to a proper setup. I didn't bother with these ones because I don't really need them much anymore, but if I was going to, then I definitely would. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the things that I am producing. The legendary turrets are great for going out to the Shattered Planet because it gives your turrets a massive range, which especially at the front of the ship, having a massive range is awesome. It's very awesome. So that is a huge range. And the legendary rocket turrets are very useful as well. They almost outrange, like this railgun is legendary and it goes all the way out there, and the rocket turrets almost outrange it. So yeah. I should actually take this guy back from the middle of nowhere, because the problem is eventually he's going to run out of fusion power cells, and that will suck. So let's turn off this. We don't want biter eggs. But, yeah, eventually we'll run out of fusion power and then be screwed. And I do not want that to happen, so I better move that back to Navis. But yeah, rocket turrets are a pain in the ass to make, though, because they take carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is very, very hard. Well, it's not hard to make, but it's very annoying. You make it on Gleba. So you can see here, where is it? We've got our normal build. It takes Yumeko Crush, or whatever the hell it's called. Yumeko Mash. And why is this broken again? Oh, it's full. Okay. It is full. It is full. So that's fine, but it takes this Yumeko mash, which then comes from the fruit. And that's a pretty standard procedure, which we've seen before. If you watch my Gleba video, you'll know all about that. Now, I did make a little bit of legendary. And the legendary carbon, it's a pain in the ass because you need legendary spoilage. So what I ended up doing is shipping in legendary carbon from Navis, which is the same thing I did to make the legendary tungsten carbide. Now, to get legendary Yumeko, you need legendary fruit. And I decided to just cycle the fruit. The problem with cycling the fruit is you end up using a ton of fruit, an absolute ton of fruit. And if you've watched the Gleba video, you know that there is a very specific ratio between the fruit and the seed. You convert the fruit into the mash, and then you get some seeds back, and that sort of system will produce exactly 100% of the seeds you need to replenish the system, and if you use biochambers, it'll produce some extra seeds. So you get like 50% more seeds, but it's a net bonus, but it's still not incredibly overpowered. Now the problem is if you start just throwing the fruit in the bin, suddenly you start using up a ton of the fruit, and after a while you start running out of seeds to replenish all of it, which is not great. So this is what happened here. I started recycling the fruit like crazy, and eventually I didn't run out of seeds, but my seed supply got very, very low, and these guys were running out of seeds to replant stuff, and I realized, oh crap, I have done something incredibly stupid. So the only way you could sort of do it is if you basically have to put quality modules on these biochambers and do it like that. You can't just recycle up. But the problem is with things on these biochambers, how are you supposed to get legendary Yumeko mash? Because you're putting in normal fruit. And I don't think you could, I don't think you do anything crazy like taking a legendary seed and planting it, and then you end up with a legendary plant. I don't think that's how it'll work. I don't think you get legendary Yumeko trees. Yeah, I don't think you can get legendary Yumeko trees. Even if you put legendary seeds in there, which I'm assuming it's possible to get the seeds being legendary. But yeah, there's no benefit to getting them to be legendary. I mean, the spawn time is great for making legendary things, but that's about it. So yeah. So because it's so hard to get carbon fiber, I think I made a total of 40. I made a total of 40 legendary carbon fiber, and then I gave up in disgust because of what it was doing to my farming setup. So the way I currently tried to make it is basically you just put full quad modules, full quality modules. You make it using normal ingredients. If it's less than or equal to epic, you throw it out. If it's epic or greater, if it's epic or less, then you recycle it straight away. If it's legendary, you put it in a chest. And this is kind of what I did. And the hopes were you upscale some of the carbon fiber from recycling it. And this actually worked pretty well. This worked decently well. I got enough to fit a few of my ships with legendary turrets. Just on the front section, of course. I got a few of the ships with all of these. But I was using a ton of carbon fiber, and so I turned it off. Having said that, I got carbon fiber coming out of my nose at the moment, so I could probably turn that back on. Probably switch that back on. Although right now it's using, I think it's using the NV supply ship to supply carbon fiber, which is not great. What I might do is I might update this to do 3,000 carbon fiber. Instantly it goes over to Gleba to pick up some more. That could have been because it just threw some over the side, but yeah. Now that Gleba did have a stage where it was running out of carbon fiber, but now it's producing so much that I feel a bit confident turning that build on again, and then we should end up with some more legendary rocket turrets. That's pretty much it, to be honest, for quality. So yeah, a couple of recommendations. I mean, I build all my quality on Navis, which I did because I have mining productivity out the wazoo. But even here's the thing, right? Even with mining productivity at incredibly high levels, like at levels of like 3,320%, like my mining productivity is level 332, I am still like, you get bases like this, which is my stone mine. I've been using this for like hundreds of hours for the Megabase right now, and it's still going strong. On the other hand, I have tapped out a couple of bases now for mining. Like, I have actually tapped out bases for mining because I'm trying to get legendary and epic ore. So, doing this on Navis, trying to get the ore up, uses a stupendous amount of ore. It just gets thrown into the abyss. Which is why you can do quality on each stage if you really want to get it, but if you really want to get a lot of quality, I would probably not recommend doing what I did, because my one kind of works, but only because I got stupendous amounts of mining productivity. I would go over to Volcanus and build a Megabase over there and just upscale everything, and if you get uncommon or rare iron plate, you can recycle it and try and get some ore back. Because I think that's what happens. I think if you recycle plate, you get... No, it's not, because it's a smelted good. See, I'm not sure exactly how that would work then. Because, yeah, you can't smelt iron plate, but you could... What you could do is you could do something stupid. Like you could... Well, what you would do is you'd take your iron plate, whatever quantity it is, and you'd start making some green circuits with it. And you could either put quality modules in the green circuit builder, or you could put prod modules in the green circuit builder and do a setup like I'm doing, where you recycle the end product if it's not high enough. So you'd put quality all the way if you want to get a few legendaries, and you'd put prod all the way and then quality in the recyclers if you want to get a large amount of legendaries and you don't mind it taking a little bit longer. But then again, with Volcanus, you got pretty much infinite, so maybe productivity modules are less because you don't have to worry about... That's one of the main reasons I did it, because I realized I have limited amount of ore, so that's why I did the prod modules. But if you got infinite, then maybe you just put quality modules everywhere. Having said that, you're going to need some massive builds to get anything at any sort of scale, because put quality modules on everything, it's going to be slow. It's going to be so very, very slow. But yeah, Volcanus is good. Another option is Fulgora, because of course scrap, you can get out massive amounts, and you can very easily end up with like epic blue circuits and epic red circuits and crazy stuff like that by recycling over and over again. But it's very messy. Like, you can tell just by looking at this base, it's very messy. I mean, what you'd probably want to do is you'd probably want to make a bot-based quality base for Fulgora that does everything nicely. Kind of like my dumping base, except smarter and with quality modules everywhere. This probably wouldn't be a bad way to go, to get higher level qualities of everything, because yeah, you dump in a bunch of scrap, put quality modules on all your recyclers, you can get some very high quality circuits very easily. You can get high quality steel, high quality LDS, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Fulgora, definitely a good place to do it. Volcanus is kind of infinite resources, but you kind of have to build a bigger base, whereas Fulgora, you could build a smaller base and get a lot of high quality resources very quickly, but it's also, it's a lot messier. It's a lot messier than if you would build it on Volcanus. Yes, and what we're going to finish off this episode, is by going over to Aquilo and looking at a chest with a legendary railgun turret in it. You may have seen this a couple of times before. If you go over to my DSM, this is the ship that made it to 600,000 kilometers towards the shattered planet. Over 10% of the way there. It has got 4 legendary railguns mounted on the front. It is incredibly awesome, this ship. And the way I created all of those legendary railguns is I just put a bunch of legendary quality modules on this, and I just said, go forth. And they increased the quality up to like 51% or something like that. Having said that, 51% to get uncommon, that means 5% to get rare, which means 0.5% to get epic, which means 0.05% chance to get legendary. And did I mention that a railgun turret takes 100 quantum processors? So yeah, I had this running with quality modules for a very long time, and I built a whole bunch of these guys and a bunch of epics. So all of my other DSMs have epics on the front and then railguns sort of filling out the sides. And then the ones right at the side are just normal. And yeah, that kind of worked out nicely, but I threw away so many. Well, here's the thing. Any normal level quantum processors, I just fed back into the system over here. And any uncommon or rare level quantum processors just got recycled. They just got fully destroyed. So yeah, I ended up destroying a lot of high quality components trying to get legendary railguns. And I mean, I'll tell you what, I succeeded, but yeah, I didn't want to try and build a proper quality base, like having one of these for each level of quality. It would have been better. It would have resulted in more legendary railguns, but building that sort of crap on Aquilo, no, it would have just been too painful. You would have needed bots to really make it work, and yeah, bots are painful on this system. I do have a logistics network set up, but it's legendary roboports and legendary bots. So yes, that's the only way you can I really made a logistics network work on this base. But anyway, that's it for quality. So pretty much done. We've got one tutorial left, and that is the Shattered Planet, which I'll probably do again pretty soon at some point. I did promise to do a base tour, however, I am waiting because apparently there's a patch coming out at some point which will be fixing the UPS issue for the Shattered Planet, for the Prometheum Science. So I was kind of waiting for that before I do a full base tour. Having said, actually, you know what? I'm not sure I need to do a full base tour anymore. Because I've gone through all of my mega bases in each individual tutorial. So I'm not sure I need a full base tour anymore. I mean, the only thing we kind of missed that we skipped over was military science and purple science. And it's just like, maybe I still will. Maybe I'll still do just one huge video showing off the entire base. It's all in just one video, but we'll see. I'm going to wait for that fix, and then when I show off the full video, at least I can say the whole thing is 5K SPM, which will be awesome. But yeah, we'll definitely wait for the patch before we do that, assuming that fix is going into the patch and assuming it comes out in a reasonable fashion. Because if it's like a year from now, then obviously I'm not going to wait around. I'm just going to say screw it and uninstall Factorio and move on with my life. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.